The global economy in 2019 was a very tough environment. We had a very significant slowdown in global economic growth, and especially in global trade volumes. So this year was a very difficult year with respect to growth. And that also reflected on the commodity prices, which declined, and especially Indonesia's terms of trade, which is the price of the things that it exports, net of the price of the things that it imports, had a big negative shock, and that tends to affect investment. So this was a very difficult year, which is why we are predicting that the economy is going to slow down this year to 5% for 2019.
Okay, is it specifically to Indonesia?
No, so this affected all countries, and I think that in January we're going to be coming up with our global economic prospects, and basically the downgrades are across the board, and I think that it was similar with the IMF's World Economic Outlook.
Okay, how about Indonesia? It's at least it's only 2 weeks to closing 2019, right? Okay, how about projections about that?
Yes, so Indonesia, we are forecasting a slowdown to 5% this year in 2019. Primarily because of the slowdown in the investment growth. Consumption growth held up well for the year, although it has slowed down a little bit in the second half. But we expect that it will still stay within the 5% for this year.
Are you sure in the 5%? So many institutions predicted Indonesia just have economic growth below 5%. So what do you think about that?
For 2019, I mean, as you said, we are already in December,
and
I think that the economic activity in the fourth quarter could benefit from the fact that now we've had a resolution of some of the political uncertainty. First, there was the election, then there was the MK, then there was the MRT, and then there was the cabinet. Now I think that some of that political uncertainty has been resolved. So I think that there can be some return of the domestically oriented investments, even still November and December, which can help keep the economy at this 5% for 2019.
Okay, Arif?
Yeah. For 2020, you predicted that Indonesia is going to have 5.1% of growth. I think it's the base assumption is that we still have a trade war in 2020. So what if the trade war is resolved by December, and then the world will be in peace and harmony? Will it affect Indonesia, and we'll have 6% growth next year, or?
So what we looking at 2020, I mean, we do expect an improvement in the global economy. We do expect that the terms of trade will be slightly deterioration from the average for 2019, but better than the current kind of level of commodity prices. So we do expect a modest improvement in 2020. That's based still on the high risks of the trade tensions kind of dampening investment and dampening growth, but better than 2019. So that's why we do expect a pickup in the growth of Indonesia from 5 to 5.1% next year, based on these somewhat more favorable global conditions. Now, I think that what you're pointing out is that what are the upside and the downside risks. I think that clearly there are upside risks. If suddenly there's an agreement and then there are no more tariffs, and then in fact we have a kind of a scale back of some of the tariffs, some of the technology issues. But I think that's quite that's a bit optimistic, but clearly it's possible. I'm not sure about 6%, but clearly that is an upside risk to the 5.1. We have not estimated exactly the amount. On the other hand, we also have some downside risks. I mean, we have a lot of Twitter wars and things that can go up and down in terms of what happened with the trade negotiations. So I think that what we have is a realistic baseline where we will not kind of eliminate all of the tariffs in the first 6 months of 2020. So this is still kind of a very gradual recovery from 2019, and that means that there is some upside risks. But I think that given the record of the past couple of years, there's also some downside risks, and we feel that the baseline is kind of in the middle.